Gifting is hard.
Gifting
It is hard.
Yeah, when you get to the point where you're like, I'd rather just spend my money on you than actually take the time it would take to make something that you would like either.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose. Don't give gifts.
We're working for the team member financial well-being. We're working on our this quarter presentation. And so we're going to do an activity about saving money. And we were talking about it with our project group. And I shared it. I said, oh, here's the one that I usually use as my example, which is Starbucks. And so I calculate if you leave a tip, if you don't leave a tip, because it changes it quite a bit. And so if you don't leave the $1 tip every single time, you can save, $200 a year or something, which is not the answer to saving money. Please tip your baristas and things. But it was so funny because everyone goes, okay, so what we learned is we can still go to Starbucks. We're just not tipping them anymore. I'm like, well, no.
Not exactly, right?
As a bartender, let's rethink that.
So do you guys have anything off the top of your head where you've bought multiple times over and over again, where if you would have just bought something expensive in the first place, you wouldn't have had to replace it so often?
I feel like mine is shoes, which kind of sounds weird, but so I wear them like the ones that I have all the time I'm wearing right now. But so there's a brand out there, they're called Rothy's, and they're knit shoes. They're made out of, I think, recycled water bottles. They're very expensive. So for like a pair of just flats, they're like $140 or something dollars. They're very expensive. But the cool thing about them, they're washable. So you can just throw them in the washing machine. And so if they get dirty, all of that. But I tend to buy the knockoff versions of them, which are really great for a short period of time. And so I feel like, because I wear them all the time from a dress shoe standpoint, I feel like I wear them out faster. So I haven't bit the bullet to just invest in a full pair of them. But I think, it seems like a really big cost up front, but I spend $25, on Amazon every time I have to buy a new pair. So it probably would maybe save me money. And the ones you buy, like they say they're washable, but they're not, all the same. So like they're not fully like machine washable. And I think if I could do that more, like they'd last longer.
Yeah, today's episode's all about buying the expensive stuff or buying the cheaper stuff and the balance between all of that. We were chatting about it in a past Money Donuts episode, and we were all like, hey, yeah, this is a thing that people experience all the time. James, do you have anything that right off the top of your head that you've purchased multiple times?
I mean, I think I made reference to this in our past conversation, but I was thinking of socks when you said that, and just thinking of how changing some of your sock habits or sock purchases can lead to greater comfort as well as longer lasting socks, which is something most people probably never think twice about. But
you specifically said it was a sock theory.
I don't know if it was a theory exactly. There's nothing.
I feel like there was a theory because I asked if you're going to do some intense calculation, like with those light bulbs. So I feel like there's more to this.
I didn't bring a spreadsheet. I didn't come prepared with anything amazing like that.
Disappointing.
This, like, we can get right into the sock discussion if you want to, but I've undertaken an endeavor in my personal life to replace all of my socks with Darn Tough branded socks.
That's the actual brand, Darn Tough?
Yes, they're called Darn Tough. They're made in Vermont. You can buy them anywhere. You can buy them at all kinds of retailers have them. You can buy them online, Amazon, anywhere will sell them to you. Cool. They have a lifetime warranty, which is kind of weird as a sock, but they say if you can put a hole in one of our socks, you can mail it back to us and we will mail you a new pair. I've never actually done that. Like, by the time I've not had one that...
You have to do it.
Truly, like, disintegrated. Like, they last a really long time, you guys. And by the time they get to that point, I'm like, well, I'd rather just buy a new pair. Like, I feel like I got the mileage out of them that I was supposed to, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it's not hard to find people that like different brands of socks. Like, everyone's got kind of their favorite things. And I just picked that one based on, how it kind of worked. They come in different sizes. So, I mean, imagine going to your typical kind of big box retailer and they have the inexpensive cotton, white crew socks, athletic socks, whatever, maybe different colors, poly cotton blend, whatever. Darn Tough ones are made with like a wool blend, so they last a little bit longer. They're a little bit more comfortable. They're probably significantly more expensive, but if you're buying them less often, that can mean that they are, it comes out in the wash, basically. Like the dollars that you spend on that one pair that lasts a long time maybe makes sense compared to buying the inexpensive ones multiple times over that same period of time.
Yeah. Well, and then I feel like with that, you can count on the quality, right? Like that is predictable. I know I have these socks. They're like taller socks that I like to wear at home with leggings, and they're thick and cozy. But I think I got them at Costco, and they weren't the Costco brand. But I bought a huge pack of them, as you get at Costco, one winter. Loved them. Okay, so they're like my favorite. And saw them again the following winter, and I said, I'm just going to grab some. Same brand, same like sock, theme. Very different quality. So very thin and whatever. So had I maybe invested in some of the nice socks, I wouldn't have felt the need to buy another set and then been disappointed with the quality.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's not really a theory, but I've kind of had that experience, and then that's led me down a path like, okay, if I'm going to, buy another thing, whatever that thing is, I tend to do probably more research than I should. You kind of get in that research mentality, that analysis paralysis would be a catchphrase that's used to describe that. Like, I need to learn everything there is to know about this niche product category to help make the best decision and decide what's going to do the thing that I need it to do for the amount of time that I need it to do, and blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's so mean.
That kind of cuts down to my final thought of this whole episode, so I'll just jump right there. Is
wait, I want to know how many blow-up couches you've bought. Is that what yours was going to be?
I've bought one blow-up couch, and I've thought, leading up to this podcast, I was like, how big a mistake was that? And yeah, it was a big mistake. Knew it wasn't going to exist, knew it wasn't going to last, but then I think about just actual furniture in general, and with 4 little children running around the house, that none of our furniture lasts. Yeah, maybe the inflatable couch lasted one day, and that's not good. But even the nicer furniture that we bought, the kids have destroyed it.
They make now. I just got a new couch when I moved apartments, because I had bought it was an average probably price sectional, but it wasn't a super nice one. Like, I wanted it quick, and I happened to be able to take it the same day from the store. But I have a dog who I refuse to say can't lay on the furniture. And so you don't always think about like the material and things that are going to trap dog hair or attach claws. And so I was really specific when I picked out my new couch, and it was a bit pricier, but it has, they call it like performance fabric now. So that's becoming a thing where, you can spill on it. I can just like wipe it off, and it doesn't, from her claws, it doesn't pill or anything. And it's been awesome. And it's still soft and nice, but I've noticed that becoming more of a thing. So maybe you need to look into that.
What is the fabric?
This is an Ashley brand. It's just their like Lycra, or they call it just performance. So it's like kid proof, pet proof. But there's a bunch of other, like Krypton is one. A bunch of other manufacturers make them too.
I have to look into it.
I feel like furniture is a common product category where this mindset applies to, right? Like, are you going to get the super premium, whatever, hand-built solid wood frame with the leather upholstery and the hand-tied 8-way inner spring cushy, squishy parts?
I was just looking at mattresses, and man, there's like the brand I was looking at, there's like basic and then premium, extra, luxury, and I'm like, they all have the same parts. I don't understand.
And mattresses, total black box, right? Like, what's actually in there? What matters? What should you look for? Like, you need a guide in that space for sure.
And how do you really know, like, if you like it? I just... Like, I feel like you have to sleep on it and they do those tests, but then who really gets rid of that mattress if you hate it? Because what a pain.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Things I think about.
That is, mattresses are trouble. It reminded me that my parents bought a nice wood kitchen table, I would say maybe 30 years ago, and now I have that table and we still use it every single day. And we're probably going to have to refinish it this spring, but the fact that we got so much use out of it, I mean, it's intergenerational savings at that point.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. One thing, that's a fun one, because like, think of all the memories, you know, think of you as a kid and now your kids have been around it. We've had soup there that Stacy's made for us as a Money Donuts hangout. Like, we've hung around the table, right?
That's taking me back. Yeah.
I know, that's been a while. But it's just those kind of things I love. Like, they're fun and you have memories attached to them you don't always realize. Do you think that, so is there like a Rolls Royce of blow up couches, or would the like quality version be a real couch? I don't know what the answer to that is.
Like, but your use case was, I want to take this outside. It needs to be like outdoor friendly for family movie nights.
No, it was to bridge the gap from buying a new furniture in the basement to kind of get us through to that next thing. So I was hoping for like, I mean, honestly, probably about a year. It's terrible to say. And
this is why it's a good story, because he legit was trying.
But like, it would have also had benefits.
Furniture.
Like, bring the couch outside. Okay.
Well, I think you did with your giant movie, because you have your like movie screen, right?
Yeah. I didn't, to your point, I didn't research or think about it very, very much. I was just like, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a couch. Maybe this inflatable couch is $100. And it was a terrible misstep. I could have just saved that $100 and put it towards a new couch.
Another thing that you should know about me is that I'm like a bargain hunter person. Like,
doesn't shock me.
Kind of cheap, and like I would love to find a couch that I cared about, like secondhand on a marketplace situation, or like at a used furniture store, a thrift store, or whatever. And I would love to have people over and be like, yeah, that couch, that was like $200. Like, it was a fraction of what
have you been to don't they have, I don't know if it's the Restore or Hope Gospel has like a whole one that you should look there to.
Yeah, I've been there multiple times. Yep.
Have you found good deals? The reviews are very,
I mean, I'm not really looking for a couch right now, knock on wood. So.
We're at a thrift shop, and I found our exact recliner that we had bought a year earlier at a store for I can't even tell you the savings. I think the recliner was $60 brand new. It was just somebody had just not used it and donated it. Yep. And so like I wasn't even the market for another recliner, but I was like, this is too good of a deal. We'll find a place for this recliner.
You know, my mom always has, like my entire life growing up, has always said, Savers has everything if you're willing to wait for it. Right. And so it's funny because that came to fruition for me like a week ago. And I've talked a little bit about like my sticker obsession, my crafting obsession. Yeah. Okay. So craft supplies are really expensive, right? And so my new favorite kind of thing to do is I like to go to like Hope Gospel, Savers, Goodwill, and see what I can find for like craft supplies, because people donate really great craft supplies, and all of these stores like test all the things so you can get really good deals. But I had been looking for this very specific paper punch shape, okay? And they're really expensive if you buy them brand new or even on eBay because they don't make them anymore. And I found it at Savers just sitting there, like one of those aha moments on the shelf, and I got it for $4. And usually they're like $30. So it was the highlight of my day. I snatched it up and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that like deal seeking mentality kind of brings some of this conversation full circle to be like, well, maybe you don't need it new. Maybe you should look for it used to try to get that same like level of value for less, which is hard.
It is so hard.
My slippery slope with that is twofold: time of like, now I'm spending a lot of time going out there searching, and two of like finding stuff that I kind of want but don't really want. For example, I was recently thrifting and I found a camera lens that I really didn't want didn't really need, wasn't perfect, but it was just like good enough deal that I was like, even today I'm like, should I go back and get that? Should I go find it? But I didn't need it. I didn't really want it, but it was there.
That is such a good point. I think, did I just see a TikTok or I saw something that was literally talking about that? So it's so easy to like go thrifting and be like, oh, that totally goes with my hobby and I don't really need it, but it's such a good deal. You don't have to buy those things, right? Like it's really hard not to, but I like that you were like, I kind of want it. I don't really need it, but you know, like, is it worth spending the money right now, even though it's cheap? Interesting things to think about. I should tell my mom you want, she has probably every camera lens you can think of because she's like me.
Oh, yes.
So like Nikon, Canon, all of them. So she would probably trade with you.
See,
for things
here, but specifically about camera lenses is like, I don't want to get into the mentality of continuously buying stuff, but I'd rather just like appreciate what I have and use it to its full potential.
I agree. That's my mindset right now with like stationary journaling, all of that. I'm trying not to, like, there's certain things I'll add to my collection if I really want them, but I'm trying to use, like, not just have them to look at, right? Like, I'm trying to actually use everything. So
yeah. There's almost like if you think of a minimalist lifestyle where, you know, less is more, like that type of thing. I think a lot of the conversation that we're having involves an element of that too, right? Like, do you need 12 things, or do you need like 12 inexpensive things that like the right tool for every job, or do you need just 3 tools or 3 camera lenses that could reach 90% of the same use cases? I think that's interesting to think about, and as we consider like doing more with less, or you know, the power of having less stuff. That's fascinating to me. So,
and sometimes, you know, I think when we have this conversation too, I always try to be mindful because I think there's a lot of shaming out there where people are like, you don't have to buy everything. Why do you need another notebook? Why do you need, you know, and okay, truly, like, it is okay to spend your money on habits and like, you know, hobbies and things like that, because you do have to try different things, right? But, you know, being able to, and I did that when I got back into journaling and stuff. Like, I bought all the things because I wanted to try all the recommended. And now I've learned what I actually like and what I don't like. And so I'm in that stage of trying to like, okay, maybe I'm going to sell some of, you know, the things. And that's okay, but just be mindful of it too. Like, once you hit that point, I really had to take a step back and be like, okay, we're only going to find, you know, thrift things, and like, here's your budget, unless you're, you know, at a certain space that has a store you don't get to go to. So just be mindful of that too, right?
We've been talking a lot about things and stuff, but I think of like travel and experiences could fit in this bucket too. Like, is there some bucket list trip that you want to take, or like, can you get more value out of a trip by going to a different destination and get some of the same experiences?
Yeah.
Maybe there's only one of a certain attraction or destination that makes sense, but is there a budget angle that would get you there?
Well, I think, you know, thinking about, I think that's a really good opportunity to start to really dig into like rewards points and things with like credit cards or even just programs. Because you can, you know, even utilizing like the Google Flight tool where you don't give it the actual dates, like you give it a range and it'll pick, oh, here's when the cheapest time to fly. So like being a little more flexible on those things. Like, you might have wanted to go over the weekend, but could you go during the week? Like, do you have enough vacation time and it's half the cost? And so I think that's a good chance to really think about some of those things.
This one really hits home. Do you have a theory? Because I know that we've talked about it, is like, I'm the type of person, I feel like I could go to Chippewa Falls and discover something new there and be excited about it and have a good time.
Yeah.
But also, there's also like this point of like, are you not pushing your boundaries to experience things that maybe you're not comfortable with? Or like we talked about Disney, like it would be great to have that experience with the kids for me, or traveling to a different country or national parks. But is it also good to head to Minneapolis and go to the Children's Museum, because that's a fantastic trip too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know is it each person or?
Yeah, I feel like it's all about the homework, like all about the considerations and thinking it through, talking with your partner, talking with your kids, and figuring out like, okay, here's our goals. What's going to let us reach those goals? Like, is there a Disney alternative that's like, maybe it isn't Disney, or maybe Disney is the once in a lifetime trip that makes sense to do, and go for it in that case. Like, I think you just have to come to that conclusion after doing some research.
Yeah.
It's hard to give one size fits all advice.
Yeah. Though. I think, when you talk about that, like the advice I kind of give from a financial educator standpoint is you kind of have to think of what do you value, right? And we think about that with budgeting in general. But so, yeah, you want to go to Disney. Ooh, flying all the kids there, expensive. If you value that versus having to drive because one gets car sick and that creates, a whole thing. Okay, well, you're going to spend the money flying, and maybe you stay not right in Disney, but you stay somewhere you have to shuttle to it. Okay. If you, like for me, I like to fly. I am very particular about where I will sit, right? So like I spend more money on a plane seat. If I can't do that right now, well, what am I like? Is that the priority, or can I suck it up and, do the like?
I mean, it's cockpit or nothing for you. Either you're sitting co-pilot or nothing.
I am a diehard Delta fan because of an overseas experience I had with a very bad airline. And Delta was not the airline, and they really stepped up and gave me a really great experience after learning what this other airline did. And so I've been loyal to Delta ever since. But like on Delta, I like Comfort Plus. That's what I like. I am strategic about it though. I usually only fly with them, so I do have points and can use them to do the free upgrades and things like that. But you just have to, like, that's important to me when I fly. I like to be comfortable. I like kind of those perks. But if you don't want to fly, like, can you drive and save the money? So I don't know. I think it comes down to values too. Like, what do you really value? Do you value having that name brand camera lens, or is there a cheaper one that, you could get the experience and figure it out? And that's not a good comparison because, like, you have to have the right brand.
It's going to be fuzzy. It's not going to be as good as the real.
Hey, that's the vibe now.
Yeah,
people are
maybe
going
you're
back
looking
to,
for that vintage lenses.
Yeah, they're doing their digital cameras.
A couple of fingerprints
without the screen are like a big thing. So they give you that kind of vintagey look, but they have an SD card that you can. That's a big thing. So it could work.
We could talk about this all day. So I want to go through a lightning round of stuff. And it's my lightning round. I know we're going to go off on tangents right away because vehicles.
Yeah.
Expensive vehicles versus one with.
I think this is a really bad topic for me.
Well,
because I like expensive things.
So what are you asking?
Anyway,
like,
continue.
What's the route?
Continue.
What is the route? Because all right, I'll give you my example. We recently bought a brand new recently in the last couple of years, brand new, and I also have a 2002 van, which I love, and but the benefit of the newer van is that it's under warranty. A lot of things are covered. I don't have to worry about that. With the older van, it was gone for 2 weeks in the shop, and I was like being back in middle school again. I had to call my friends to pick me up at work and drive me places, and they all did that. But just like calculating the cost of expenses, I'm like, oh, we could start saving for a new one, but payment wise, I could just fix this one up, and if it lasts 3 months, that's 3 payments. Or, that's 3 payments. It's hard to figure out. And so I'm like kind of looking between possibly saving for a new vehicle or just buying a cheap vehicle outright.
Yeah.
So answer those questions for me.
I mean, I think it, again, kind of comes down to what do you value? What are you willing to put into it? Does it have really, really high miles where it's really kind of getting to the point where you're like, okay, if we keep putting money into it, it's really not going to last. And so if you keep putting $200 into it every couple months. Well, could you just get a new $200 car payment with, maybe less things? But you never know. It's always a gamble, right? Mm-hmm. And some vehicles last well over the recommended amount of miles. That it's a hard one again, right? I think it has to align with your other goals. Do you want to spend that car payment right now? Well, no. Okay. What do you want to be doing with that money? Do you want to put it in funds for a car for the kids? Is it, something like that? Or is it buying a new car now with the thought that, the youngest will drive it eventually? And so do you really do the research and get a Toyota or a Honda that are known for lasting versus, the shiny new car you might really, really want, right?
That does shine a light on things, because I am the person who, if I could just buy a car today and keep it forever and never get a new vehicle, I would do that.
Yeah.
I don't need new features. I don't need more computers. I just need it to run and get me from.
Same.
So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at the cheapest and think about, let's put some money down on something that will last me for multiple years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
All right.
And if you don't for me, I have a job where I drive a lot. So I put a lot of miles on my vehicle just for work. And, I do get reimbursed for mileage and wear and tear to an extent, right? But for me, it's important to have a vehicle that I can drive in all weather, that, is maybe a little newer, so that, or even I don't usually buy a new vehicle because the mileage adds up really quickly. So there's a balance in finding that used vehicle that's affordable and has, the features. I spend a lot of time in my vehicle. I'm a little pickier probably than some people for the features that I have in it, right? But it just comes down to if you're not driving a lot, if you don't, have to worry about that, can you buy a higher mileage vehicle because it's going to take you longer and it'll be a little cheaper. So there are so many factors to consider.
How about tools? Where you guys sit on tools, expensive versus cheaper tools?
Yeah, Cooper, how's your tool budget treating you?
My mom bought me a tool set for Christmas, and it is a nice tool set. I think, these questions, I feel like I always just repeat it, right? Because it depends. I have a friend and he is a mechanic and he works with tools all day, every day. He's going to probably have some preferences on having more expensive ones that are going to last him and that he enjoys using constantly, right? It's kind of the same, you have certain camera lenses that you prefer to use or, things like that. I have certain pens I like to use, right?
Is it a hobby? Is it a recreational activity?
Yeah.
Or is that how you earn your income and make your money? Those are very different
and
scenarios.
That's a great one. If it is how you earn income, is there a deduction that you can get? So it's maybe worth buying the newer ones, or even, think of vehicles. If you need a vehicle for your business, is it worth investing in a more expensive hybrid because there could be a tax credit for it, right? You kind of have to weigh those things too. For you, buying the camera lens could have been worth it, right? Because you have a side biz that you use it for. So I don't know. I think it depends on the situation.
All right. So here are my final thoughts. Then let me know if you agree or disagree. That it really does come down to research, and not just research in what it is, but how thinking through of how you're going to use the material. So and the downfalls of it. If I go for that cheaper camera lens, what are the drawbacks? And am I going to live with those drawbacks? Tool-wise, vehicle-wise, what are your expectations of the product you're getting? I think the inflatable couch thing is so funny is because my expectations were terrible. I was thinking that this could potentially be a year-long thing when if I went in and I need it for 2 days, then the experience might be better for me.
I think this is a very James idea that I'm going to share, but in a good way, right? I think you made a really good point. And when it comes to research, I think there is a point where you maybe get a little too granular, right? But one thing that I've noticed, like, so there's a lot of like YouTube, TikTok accounts and things where they're really comparing like the material, right? So like if you're going to buy the 8-pack of white t-shirts at an Amazon that look just like the brand, you know, Ralph Lauren ones that are $800 compared to $20, what are the, like, what's the makeup? What are the materials that it's made of? What are the percentages? Like, are they the same? Are they really close? And, you know, being a good steward of like the actual materials that go into it, right? Because you can get the cheap product that is made very similar to the, you know, very expensive brand. And as long as you don't care about the brand, right? Like you might be able to get whatever that item is at a lesser quality. I think of that with like, I really like Coach bags. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that they are good quality. The leather is beautiful. I'm paying for the brand though, right? Because I can go and there's like Portland leather or Latico leather are two really great brands that make all leather quality products significantly cheaper because I'm not paying for the brand name, right? Sure. And so, you know, the quality is beautiful and things. You kind of have to weigh it like that and just be really mindful of those things. Same with like skincare, with, you know, hobby things like, do I need a $30 paper punch or can I wait until a $4 one or get one off Amazon, right?
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Coming back around, Steve, to the lightning rounds idea, I think the idea or the takeaway for me is to have a plan with anything that you're looking for. Like if you're buying a car, you should have a plan. Are you going to keep it for a long time? Is it a temporary fix? Like if it's an inflatable couch, you had a plan. Just the plan doesn't always, you know, the plan can change after you make the purchase, but at least you had a plan when you were starting it and you were like, this is why I'm choosing this path. Yep. Being an informed decision maker is kind of the key to this conversation, I think.
The plan could be to like, okay, you don't want to spend on the most expensive vehicle or most expensive blow up couch, right? But they offer a warranty. And so I'm going to spend a little more and buy the warranty so that I'm going to be covered because I know it could happen. I'm taking that risk. And so, you know, protecting yourself or putting that into place, like accounting for that cost up front, sometimes that can be more worth it too, because, you know, now you're covered for a certain amount of time and you don't have to think about those costs. So it's getting you by for however long, and they might replace it. They might, you know, fix it for free, whatever.
Do your homework on that front too, though, right? Because there's different levels of warranty coverage and, you know, does it cover a manufacturer's defect or wear and tear or like damage caused by a pet or something? Well, like there's all kinds of scenarios.
Are you thinking about all the angles too? I was thinking you guys made me think about shoes again. And it's like, all right, maybe you are going to be replacing cheaper shoes more often, but also health-wise, is the quality of footwear going to mess up the way that you're walking, and now you have hip pain because of it? Like, are you thinking about the whole big picture?
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
I have less answers.
I don't think we solved anything here, but I think we just kind of shone a spotlight on some of the questions and the conundrums that we face as consumers and as decision makers. Now that can have a financial impact.
Yeah.
If you're listening or watching this and you have stories about cheap things that you bought that either were very beneficial or did not work out. I was talking to one of my friends last night, and he said that buying his clothes from big box stores, loves it. That's all he does. That's where he gets it from. He feels like it's good quality and lasts.
There's whole things though where people compare like Lululemon leggings to the Costco ones, like same materials, right? So
research.
Yeah. If you don't care that it says Lululemon on it, you can get the same quality. You know, like I think that's with everything when it comes to finance, right? It's being an informed consumer. It's taking time to do research or to know who has done the research and being able to tap on them. I think it's for, like, there's always going to be an expert opinion and they're all probably going to be different. Like, that's the reality of it, right?
Oh, goodness.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. And as always, write us reviews, follow us on social. And
I do actually really want to hear people's stories of like the cheap things they've bought or tips and tricks that they've learned over the years. Like, comment, email, call, whatever. But I think it would be fun.
Help. Yeah, for sure. Right. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff.